floating around for a very long time. And I don't believe that it should be this big of a deal just to let people go to the washroom which they feel that they belong to. And if you're a transgender person and you were born a woman but you feel that you are uncomfortable going to the washroom around other females, then you should have the right to go to whichever washroom that you feel, or have your gender-specific washroom made for you. And I don't believe that it is that big of an issue because there are men and women washrooms, but they're just like single stalls instead of like a regular man and a woman washroom where you can just go in and there's multiple stalls and sinks. And yeah.
Okay, over to you guys.
People are born a specific gender, and as far as I'm concerned, there's only two of them, male and female. Men, regardless of how they feel about their self-perceived gender, should not be allowed to use the same bathroom as a woman. It allows men who may not actually be transgender to say they're transgender and have access to those bathrooms, which I feel is a huge public safety concern for women. Indecent exposure is one of the most common, along with sexual battery, assault, and molestation. How does the feeling of a gender dysphoric man take priority over the safety of your wife, daughter, mother, sister, or girlfriend?
Okay.
So male predators were waiting for alleged loopholes like this to pop up. They could already be using the women's bathrooms already. The North Carolina law mandates that people must use bathrooms based on their biological sex, defined as the sex of the birth certificate. Transgender men who are likely to have birth certificates with an F on it are often indistinguishable from gender men. Notes the Center for American Progress, Sarah McBride. So a male predator could skip the trouble of dressing up and going into the women's room in North Carolina today. Pretending to be a transgender man, we know that's not going to happen, she says. But the notion that the lack of a law protecting transgender people is all that's stopping male predators from acting prosperous.
Over 70% of transgender people have experienced verbal abuse in a situation that's involving gender. And 10% have said that they've experienced physical assault because of it. And transgender washrooms are not a thing that haven't succeeded already. 18 states in the United States already have this law or something like this in effect. As early as 1993 by Minnesota. No, as later, really, I don't know. And then as current as yesterday, there was an issued nationwide announcement that if public school districts don't agree with the transgender issues or whatever, then like they have to let people who want to go to what bathroom, they have to let them go, and if the school board doesn't let those kids go to whatever washrooms that they want, then they can be disciplined. I don't know, something like that.
I think as point two, does it go back to you? Did you say all four of your points?
Well, I said two of mine.
I think Bethany has one more.
Yeah. So, like you were saying about school divisions, police and school officials say they haven't seen it at all. Media Matter, a liberal media watchdog, asked a state leader, law enforcement, and school officials in places with these protections whether they've seen an increase in sexual assault or rape after passing these laws, and they have repeatedly said that they have not. We have not seen that. A Des Moines Police Department spokesman spoke or told the outlet in 2014, I doubt that's going to encourage the behavior. If the behavior's there, they're going to behave as they're going to behave no matter what the laws are.
Alrighty.
Okay, back to you guys for your 4 points.
Technically speaking, there are only two genders. The Oxford Dictionary describes gender as a state of being male or female. So the fact that, basically, and with the male and female, there's also new genders that people just have been creating in the last few years. So people have been creating genders, and there's no way to tell whether or not that person can be lying or whether they're truthful about like being demi-female or trans-demi, or there's so many different genders that people are creating. So saying that you deserve your own bathroom just because you have like a certain gender that you identify with, like you either want to be female, you either are female or you are male, or you want to be female or you want to be male, and you went through the process to get that done.
It's perfectly appropriate for a male who has undergone surgery to use a woman's washroom, but until that happens, common sense and public safety should require those with male genitalia, regardless of their self-perception, should use a men's washroom, and those with female genitalia should use a woman's washroom. There are approximately 700,000 transgender people in the United States, representing about 0.3% of the percentage of the entire population. That means the safety and privacy and common decency concerns for 99.7% of the American population are sacrificed on the altar of political correctness and feel-good policies for a tiny fraction of the public.
Okay. Debate.org says it's not an issue of rights, but more of fighting for special privileges that aren't deserved. There's nothing about transgenders that warrants the allowance of a bathroom selection. If they are born male, use the men's restroom. If they are born a woman, use the women's restroom. If they have transitioned into a woman, use the women's restroom. If they've transitioned into a male, use the men's restroom. It shouldn't be so gray.
Yeah, I said my 2 points.
Okay, we're
All
good.
right. Okay, so now a minute break before we get into the open debate.
One.
Okay.
A main point of a gender-neutral bathroom is to prevent bullying and the end of the targeting of transgender students. Creating a bathroom that is basically created for these students' convenience creates a solid target. The bathroom, instead of serving as a safe zone, it becomes an area that can have targeted harassment and bullying. Completely counterintuitive.
By creating transgender bathrooms in an uncalled for setting, you're infringing upon people's freedom of association and their freedom of assembly. Not being able to remove yourselves from a situation as simple as going to the bathroom with people that make you uncomfortable, not even just uncomfortable, but some random male coming into a woman's bathroom, is infringing upon your rights. And if you're a Catholic person or someone religious and you think that Adam and Eve are the only genders, then you're infringing upon their religious rights and freedoms.
Think of an apple claiming it's banana. And with its whole heart, the apple believes it is a banana. It might even be taller than the other apples or even have the same yellow color as a banana. But it will never be sold in a store with bananas.
There's a big difference between a right and a special privilege. This is clearly the latter, not to mention that this is a law that can be easily abused by sexual predators.
So, if you want to, we really need to make a more comfortable environment for transgender people. So gender-neutral restroom would also create a safer environment for parents who want to go as well. Imagine a mother is with her 4-year-old son at a Target, and he really has to use the bathroom. That puts the mother in an uncomfortable situation where one of them must go into the opposite gender's bathroom, or she must let her 4-year-old son use the bathroom by himself. With the development of gender-neutral restrooms, this would not be a problem, and both of them could go into one bathroom in peace without judgment.
Having gender-neutral bathrooms may prevent bullying or anxiety and create a more accepting atmosphere, but it also opens doors to various sexual crimes, as I listed before. Like, why should we have to sacrifice our comfort for a small minority of the people? Why not just make more individual bathrooms with single-user stalls instead of having to have a gender-neutral bathroom where people might feel more uncomfortable?
I understand that creating gender-neutral bathrooms will, like, if you put a third washroom in every single building and every single place that has a washroom, it'll cost a lot. It'll be all that. But what if we just convert the current washrooms into neutral washrooms for everyone.
Like
So
a
like just
segregated-
remove the stalls and remove the urinals and just create stalls with rooftops or whatever, so people can't peek over and you'll get your privacy that you want. Because after you leave the stall, the only thing that you normally do if you're a decent person is just wash your hands, and a lot of people have washed their hands in front of men and women.
A lot of people aren't decent people though, and you're catering towards the minority of the people. That 0.3 of a percentage. The rest of us, if you convert those bathrooms to a gender-neutral bathroom, it'll make the majority of the population feel a little bit more uncomfortable.
There's 7 billion people in the world, and only 700,000 of them are transgender. So
Studies show, though, that transgender people are more likely to be victims. What is really unacceptable, said HRC's Oakley, is we're pinning these fears on people who are, in fact, themselves incredibly vulnerable in bathrooms. In a study from UCLA's Williams Institute, nearly 70% of transgender people said they had experienced verbal harassment in a situation involving gender-segregated bathrooms, while nearly 10% reported physical assault. And advocates argue laws that force transgender people to use restrooms where they can look out of place makes them more likely targets.
forcing them, though, to go into an ungendered bathroom basically says, we're going to give you the privilege, even though you want to be just like everybody else, even though you switch genders to feel comfortable in your own skin, we're going to do this thing just for you. The minority of people, it's not like we're giving black people their own bathroom, so why would we give transgender people their own bathrooms?
I don't think that it's like this big of an issue. Like if you're a transgender person, you have to fight for equality, but I don't even think that you should be fighting to go to the washroom. But if we don't create gender neutral bathrooms, then we should create a higher tolerance around the world for people to let them go into whatever washroom that they would like. So maybe not spending all that money on creating new washrooms, but maybe spending that money on making people understand why transgender people need to go to the washroom that they need to go to. Damn.
So, just to end, there is a survey done on ustranssurvey.org, and it was done last year, and what they found is that 59% of transgender people have avoided using bathrooms in the last year because they feared confrontation. 12% report they have been harassed or attacked sexually assaulted in the last year. 31% have avoided drinking or eating so that they did not need to use the bathroom. 24% reported that someone told them they were using the wrong restroom. And 9% report being denied access to the appropriate restroom. And 8% report having a kidney or urinary tract infection. With this, why should people have to feel like this just because they can't use the bathroom? Because some people think that because of their gender, they are supposed to be in a certain washroom. And according to this, they don't want to go into the washrooms in public places because they feel like they're going to be either attacked or asked questions and saying they're being in the wrong spots.
Okay. Back to Dominique and Cash.
Oh, I wish this was open to be. I had one more good point.
Well, I guess you still have
30 seconds.
30 seconds to go.
If you create gender equal
No,
washrooms,
but
it
it's
would be
one
fair
person
for
just
people.
one person just
And
one.
have you noticed, like, in a man's washroom, that there's, like, barely any lines, but women's washrooms, there's a whole bunch of lines. But if there's a gender-neutral washroom, then everyone will have the same length of lines, so people don't have to wait that long in the bathroom.
I'm a guy, I don't need tampons. They have tampon dispensers in women's bathrooms a lot of the times.
Carry your own.
A lot of women that need
Okay, this is not open debate anymore.
A lot of women
This is
that
just
need tampons
closing
can't live with
statements.
their person.
Okay.
Boom.
I'm ready.
Okay, Dominique and Cash, please bring some civility back to this.
If this prevails, this will be the end of public schools as we know it. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. People are powered by their fear. This can be a driving force in the transgender debate. And moving forward, it can be a detriment in the transgender rights initiative. I myself believe that there are only two genders. You're either male or female, or you want to be male or female. I've said this a million times. This debate isn't about people opposing people's genders. This is unfortunately about the fact that people are identifying as new genders every single day. There's no way to tell whether these people are truthfully identifying as demigendered, an umbrella term for non-binary gender identities that have partial connection to a certain gender. This includes the partly female identity, demi-girl, and partly male identity, demi-boy. And there's a million of those now. The main issue, though, is safety. Of feeling safe in your own bathroom. I don't want to go into a public women's bathroom with anyone who has a penis. Sorry. What if that person hasn't taken hormones or had surgery, but still claim to be transgender? Do we just take their word for it? It's a hard topic, but I feel that you can always use a one-room unisex bathroom in most places like Starbucks. Forcing transgenders to use particular bathrooms is encouraging violence. Transgender people of color in particular are at a very high risk of sexual assault, rape, and hate crimes than any other group. Public venues are the second most common place where transgenders are attacked, which includes bathrooms. They are just people trying to use a bathroom. Let them go into a bathroom that corresponds with their gender identification. They don't need a specific bathroom. According to Marie Claire magazine, over 700,000 people in the US identify as transgender. Creating non-specific bathrooms provides those people with the stigma that they truly are different from the rest of us, when really we should be providing them with the idea that they can be just like us.
Okay.